Hello, everybody. Welcome to our session, AI-powered IT Finance, on a fantastic conversation with two wonderful experts. And now I would say we have become friends. Thank you for joining us today to this session. I will quickly introduce our speakers and myself, and then we'll go right into our conversation. So this first session, we are titling Setting the Vision for AI-Powered IT Finance. And I have, like I already said, two wonderful individuals with me, experts and thought leaders. Nancy Braun has worked in IT and in finance for many, many years. I will not say the number of years. She's been a speaker at IT Finance Management and TBM conferences. She has been working with clients and experts herself, helping them to advance in this topic of IT finance. I think that we're very, very blessed to have her. Nancy, thank you for being there. And I know we've had some conversations ahead of time. Our other speaker, Dr. Alexander Becker, extensive experience in consulting on service management, particularly in the ITFM and TBM. This is actually where Alex and I met a long time ago. Alex is our COO at ServiceWare, but he has also extensive experience from McKinsey with regards to the different topics. So welcome to both of you. Thank you again. Quick couple of words to myself. I'll be the facilitator today, and I have some years in IT and finance management as well, but really more from the analyst perspective. I've been doing analyst work before I joined ServiceWare for many years and covering many different topics relative to ITFM and many other three-letter acronyms related to this particular topic. So, like I said, setting this vision for AI-powered finance is our topic for today. But before I turn it over to hand and some questions, I want to set the stage because I think it's important to look at some of the adoption. When we look at the adoption of AI, and specifically we're using Gartner data, we're finding that on an average of 50% is AI adopted across the different verticals, and this is also global. When we look at agentic AI, if we go to the next, I don't want to call it hype, but it's really the next topic, the adoption is not as great yet because it's rather new, and there we see a 17% adoption, again, across the globe and across the different verticals. Now, if we then descend the mountains, and I lived in Colorado for 32 years, so I kind of descend mountains from top to bottom, which is strange, I know. But if we turn into and look into the current state of AI in IT or in finance specifically, again, this is a Gartner figure, 59% of finance organizations are actually adopting in some shape, fashion, or form in 2025 AI. In 23, that wasn't yet as high. It was 37%. So great growth, great adoption. And then if we go a little bit deeper in terms of the topics, I think relative to the adoption, there are, of course, skepticism, there is fears, there is challenges moving from planning to actually piloting. And that's what we want to do and want to make sure we share some thoughts. But there's great optimism. I think that's most important. Great optimism seen across both those who are in the leader. Sometimes there is adopters who go faster on technology and others are not. But both those who are followers and leaders, there's great adoption. So having said that, I wanted to quickly set the agenda for the next so about 17 minutes for our conversation. First, we'll talk a little bit about the vision. We'll talk a little bit about the transformation journey and then the journey itself. So that actually gets me, Nancy, to the first question I want to pose to you. So as the title of our session is called AI-powered IT finance, give us a vision of what does that look like?
So I think it's important to say that I could see a future where AI is a tool that's very powerful for IT finance managers and coordinators. So we often talk about people like budget coordinators do spend a lot of their time doing manual data entry, and when we can have AI agents who can do that entry for them and take care of some of the grunt work, but also to think about IT finance differently, where it's not a rear view look, where we're not at the end of the month closing the month and looking back at how we did, but that we have models that can project forward and do true FP&A and do predictive analytics for IT finance, where the models that we're using learn the patterns of the people and the projects and the spend within an organization, and can make predictions and be sort of an advisor to the people who are coordinating the budgets and working with the budget owners.
So less manual work, more leveraging details which have been produced and are put to place, and much more thinking rather than that mundane labor, right? That's what I hear you say.
Absolutely, that those people become analysts and really thought leaders for the organization, and can look at and respond to trends in spend patterns rather than just being report generators who send data out to somebody else for their thoughts on it.
That's a very pleasant thought. Alex, anything you want to add to that?
I can just maybe translate this in a nice picture, which we've been using since I've been working with ServiceWare. Driving tool automation into IT finance was always about turning around the pyramid. Yeah? Today, most of the financial controllers work on the bottom of the pyramid, getting the data in shape, preparing reports, and the time is less and less to consolidate and advise, like Len says. Yeah? And I think AI really will help turn this pyramid around, really cutting out significant time that goes into data consolidation, data cleansing, report generation, yada, yada. And so I think that this is exactly the picture where AI is bringing the next level. Even if you look at the history, it all started doing it on paper, then using rudimentary tools, using spreadsheets, using as a state-of-the-art IT finance automation platforms. And now AI brings the next level.
Great. So what objectives are hidden then behind that? I mean, I heard a few. Of course, it's a lot more interesting as an analyst to work. I think that's quite attractive for the individual working. But there are, of course, objectives to pursue when I want to go down, or I pursue AI in finance. What would you say? What are the objectives we are looking for in adopting AI within IT finance? Alex, do you want to go with that?
Yeah. Sure. In the end, I think the objective is creating a better output with less effort for the input, right? That's the simple summary I would put in front of that. And then there are different aspects and maybe sub-objectives to this overall theme. And it's all about that AI should support the human. That's what I believe in, is the right philosophy to have a better result. Yeah. So to make the work easier, make the analysis easier, make the insights easier, make it more easy to get actionable insights for decision support, and help automate the commodity and repetitive tasks. So this is for me the major structure of the objective, to come to a better output supported by AI with a much more efficient way of input.
Mm-hmm. Anything you want to add, Nancy, to this?
Yeah, I think it's important to think about the fact that for at least the last decade, maybe longer, we've been on a philosophy of IT moving at the speed of business. And so the actual infrastructure and applications of IT have been working hard to become more agile and to be able to respond to shifting and changing business needs, which only increase in their speed. But IT finance was still end of the month look back at the results of all of the things that people did over the course of the last month. And so it's finally time for IT finance to move at the speed of the business, and to be able to have models to predict and have conversations with the business about the financial impacts of the choices that they're making around technologies, because technology drives so much of everything that the business does these days. But they have no good window into the cost of those decisions until after the fact. And so by putting these kinds of models and predictive analytics into place, whether it's through cost modeling or predictive budgeting or predictive forecasting, they can have those conversations with the business and ahead of time do much more detailed predictions about the bottom line impact of the decisions around technology that the business is making.
So it shifts the role quite a bit, right? And I hate to pose this question now, but I have to. That actually would mean that teams will need to be working differently. That means their roles will shift and their role descriptions will shift, right? Give me a little bit more color on that, because I think that is, if I think about the clients I speak to, there is that fear of, oh, my role is going away, right? I'm losing whatever. So talk to me a little bit about that. What have you heard and seen relative to this particular situation?
So it's not as much of a role going away, but a role changing, right? So the budget coordinators or the cost modelers become less of an accountant and more of an analyst. And so they're not just helping the service owners with their number entry and updating their forecast and sort of being the translator of IT to finance. The AI can do that translation of IT to finance, right? They get to then take what's translated and do deep financial analysis on it. So yes, there will be upskilling for some people, just the same as when you first introduce cost modeling to a team. Yep. There's a lot of upskilling as to like how to think about modeling and how to design a model and what do I do with the results of this model. And what we're talking about here with AI is really just modeling, right? It's large language models, large quantitative models, but it's another way of modeling the financials. So it's a deeper understanding of modeling and what the results of that modeling mean and how to interpret it.
And it would change the relationship between the finance organization and the rest of the business teams, I would assume, right? Any thoughts on that? Because right now, I think in many organizations, there could be that perception that finance is more of a bit of a sideline, right? They're the bean counters, let's call it that way. It's not a positive term, but we've all heard it. But anything you want to comment on that relative to the perspective of the business partners I have within, be it marketing, be it whatever, sales teams, manufacturing, et cetera. Anything you want to add to that comment or question?
Well, I think that even without AI, the successful IT groups today are shifting into that role already. They're becoming more of a partner to the business. And it may not be directly from the finance team. And even with AI, it might still not be directly from the finance team. But the finance team is producing the analytics and the insights that the people who own that relationship, whether it's a business relationship manager or however they term it, those people then have more information to take into that relationship. And those business relationship managers can bring more questions back to the finance team that they can quickly answer and not be like, oh, that's a good question. I'll let you know after we close the month in 3 weeks, right? Like they can quickly generate the answers to questions by modeling.
Okay. Anything, Alex, you want to add to that?
I can only underline what Nan said, and I think there shouldn't be any fear of roles going away. When I speak to clients in the ITFM area and their TBM offices, it's always currently the situation that they feel overburdened by the work, and they always feel they cannot meet the demand of the business to be that counselor that Nan just described. And I think it would just help them really fulfill their role, and obviously role might change because the expectation will rise, rightfully so, with the business. But I think AI will rather be a help and a relief than something to be feared by those teams.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. Super, thank you. Of course, the current state is interesting for those who are listening in, because we might have listeners who are fairly advanced. They're probably saying, yep, been there, done that, moving on. But tell me, maybe Alex, we'll start with you. What do you see in your travels and in your organizational meetings you have with clients what is the current state of AI adoption of those clients you're speaking to?
It is fairly low, to be straightforward, and I think it's not a shame. It's just a reflection of where we are at with AI and IT finance. Because we're also going to talk about it in the course of this webinar series, and Nan and I outlined it in our white paper. There are still a lot of challenges in applying AI to quantitative scenarios like IT finance. And therefore, people who have started are struggling, gaining the first results. They see value and they work with it, but they realize it takes more time. It takes the necessary data. It takes a lot of also organizational skill set and mindset change to really reap the benefits. So I would say it's the minority of organizations who actually already today have productive use cases. Then there is a set of organizations who are starting to experiment, and I still see the majority yet witnessing what's happening, thinking about where could we use it. So being actually in a prior stage to any kind of active pilot or usage. That's just what I observe.
Anything you would add to that, Nancy, in terms of what you have seen?
I agree that it's very low right now, and the clients that we work with feel kind of caught in a catch-22 where they are so overburdened, as Alex was talking about earlier, just trying to get all the work done, that they don't have time to spend to do the upskilling and to learn how to implement the AI and to do the work to get it done. And so they're in this vicious cycle of, I want to get better, but I don't have time to get better. And so that it really takes a visionary leader to be able to say, hey, we're going to invest. We know it's hard, but it's a lot like investing in putting any kind of ITFM automation platform in place, right? It takes a little bit of time up front, but the rewards are well worth it and give you great value at the other end of it. So for 6 to 9 months, your team's going to be a little bit overburdened as you go through this piece. But then when you get to the end of that, you're going to free up a lot of their time to do much more useful and valuable analytics work for the organization. So it really takes somebody who can prove out the value of that. And we work with a lot of people trying to build the business case for ITFM platforms. We expect to start spending a lot of time with people, start to build the business case for how to sell the invest in building out AI for the IT finance team, because there is a business case there and there is value there. But it's new to organizational thought, so it's going to take a little bit of internal sales to make it happen.
So that rewards, I want to hone in one more time on that. Clarify the benefits in maybe 3 or 4 words. I think that is what I want to hone in. What do you actually see as clear benefits of adopting AI within IT finance as a summary to this session?
I think very clearly more valuable analytics in an agile fashion that give data to drive business decisions.
And I think I also heard you say time savings, right? Meaning that people can actually shift more towards strategic roles, that advisory role, that analyst role, data accuracy, and maybe more of a collaborative approach. I think that was a little bit hidden to what, Alex, what you were saying, is this collaboration that we are now in this together relative going forward. Excellent, fantastic. Any last thoughts before I wrap this up? This was really enlightful. Anything else you'd like to add? If not, excellent. So what we have learned, let me just go quite quickly capture a couple of things. Alex mentioned a white paper. I would highly recommend to go and look at this white paper. This is written by those 2 folks here on the call, by Nancy and Alex together. The QR code gives you the access to that white paper. In summary, I think, again, and there's more details in this white paper too, many things which we'll discuss in follow-on sessions. But in summary, I heard you say state is, at the current state, is absolutely just at the beginning. We are seeing some adoption but people are really needing to understand and shift the skill set and the mindset to move on towards the future. There are accurate and benefits, but it is a business case discussion. You need visionary leaders. We need people who actually encourage the upskilling, who make time for people to have time to pilot and experiment. I think we see that in every topic around AI, not just in finance. And then there are rewards and benefits which are feasible and actionable. So I think this has been great. I want to share one more slide. For those of you who want to connect with either Nancy or Alex, here are both LinkedIn connections. If you want to and interested in further conversations, free assessments, as you mentioned, Nancy, I think that's a great pointer, understanding where you are so you know where to go. And then again, connect with those folks, have questions, and have ongoing conversations. With that, thank you to both of you for your time, and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Eveline. Thank you, Nan. It was a pleasure. Looking forward to the next talk.
Absolutely. Always good, Alex, and thanks, Eveline.